I'm sitting here chilling with Shaquena and Baldhead, whole laughing libations. Check it out.
He slaps in our face, slaps in our face, he 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 slaps in our face, ha ha, he slaps in our face. I know you on this channel just to have a ball. Have you rolling like you in a wheelchair. And boy, he's so stupid, how you know he don't care. It's laughter all after all.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to episode 84 of Libations Podcast. I'm your host, comedian Shaquena. Baldhead has a show tonight, so he will not be able to make it. But if he does come in, I want y'all to welcome him. We got a great guest tonight, comedian RayDiva out of Baltimore, Maryland. Her and I shared a stage together back in 2024, I think. Was it 2024? I think it was 2024. No, 2023, my bad. 2023, we shared a stage together at Uptown Comedy Corner. I got to see her in action, and she's a dope comedian. She's hilarious. She's funny. But before we do all of that, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas, the grandmamas, the aunts, the cousins. I call the aunts the TTs, because you know sometimes these little babies can't say auntie, they can say TT. So, and my nieces and my nephews still call me TT to this day, and they older. You know what I'm saying? So they're almost teenagers. Well, one of them is a teenager, so they still. Two of them teenagers, so they still call me TT. So, but yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out here. Thank you for doing what you doing, raising these babies to be upstanding members of society. I appreciate you. To the ones that have lost a mother, a grandmother, a aunt, a cousin, a mother figure, you have my deepest condolences. And y'all don't forget that there are people out here that are still grieving the loss of a mother, a grandmother, a TT, a cousin that raised them. But yeah, y'all. Make sure that y'all love on your mamas, your grandmamas, and your aunties. Like I said, I'm just waiting on the guests for tonight.
You got any trash?
Yeah. I'm just waiting on the guests for tonight, y'all. Like I said, comedian RayDiva out of Baltimore, Maryland. Like I said, I shared a stage with her in 2023 at Uptown Comedy Corner. She was funny to me. I got to, like I said, see her do magic on the stage. She was funny. She was hilarious. You know, she did the doggone thing. So, yeah, y'all. But, like I said, I did not realize I booked this show, this episode on Mother's Day. So if she does not show up tonight, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to answer the questions that I would have asked her. So let's just get started. And the question is, tell the people about yourself, where you're from, and how did you get into comedy? I'm gonna answer the questions, okay? Because I don't think she's gonna be able to make it tonight. I might have to rebook RayDiva for season 9, so I may have to rebook her. But hey y'all, my name is Shaquena. I have been doing comedy since 2021, December the 14th. That's when I started. My first show was on Zoom. Yeah, like I said, my first show was on Zoom. Comedian Fudge gave me my start in comedy. I wish I had that video, but I don't. But it was fun. Like I said, it was on Zoom. To me, doing comedy on social media or on the internet is harder than it is on stage. I would rather go on stage and do comedy than to do it here on social media because it's harder. You don't have those instant laughs like that. You don't have that. I wish you did, but you don't. But that's how I got started. That's who started me into comedy, was comedian 50 Shades of Fudge. What made me get into comedy is I wanted to be a doctor, and I had talked to my sister because I either wanted to. I wanted to be a doctor. That's no joke. That's no lie. I wanted to be a doctor. I just didn't know what type of doctor I wanted to be. I didn't know if I wanted to be a physical therapist. I just did not know what type of doctor I could be, but there was a catch to it. I did not want to go back to school. That's the crazy catch. I did not want to go back to school at all for it. Okay. That was my thought process to the whole thing. I'm not gonna even sit up here. I'm not gonna even lie to y'all. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna even do that to y'all. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor. I just did not know what type of doctor I wanted to be. But it hit me. I said I wanted to be the world's doctor. For those of you that don't know what the world's doctor means, that means a comedian. I did not know how, at the time, I did not know how I was going to get into comedy. Because you have a lot of people that don't want to help you get into comedy, don't want to be your mentor, don't want to tell you the ins and the outs of comedy. They want to see you struggle. Now, you got some comedians that will, give you the game, hold your hand through it and tell you what to do, how to do it. It help you out a little bit. They gonna watch you bump your head. They ain't gonna try to give you all the game, but they are gonna help you learn a little bit of the game, but you still have to bump your head. So I said I wanted to be a comedian. And my sister said, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm sure. I'm positive. I want to be a comedian." She said, "Okay. Well, I'm here for the ride. I'm here with you. I'm going to be here until the wheels fall off." So, and I said this to her back in 2021 that I wanted to be a doctor. And I was going to go back to school to be a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a psychologist. That's what I was going to end up being, either a psychiatrist or a psychologist. But I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't, but I did end up going back. I was already in school, and I was close to graduating. And I didn't want to start over and get another, get myself in more debt to go back to school. But yeah, my first show Like I said, when I first started comedy, it was on Zoom. My second show was at KOD in Atlanta, Georgia, which to me was a bad idea. I should have turned the show down. But I was so eager, I was so happy to be doing it for the second time, and I was thinking that the first time was gonna be like the second time, and I messed up. I messed up. I was drunk. I was completely and utterly drunk on that stage. And I'm not gonna even lie, y'all. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt and say I wasn't drunk. I was drunk. I was nervous. And that show was put on by comedian Armani Jones. But yeah, I didn't do so good. And anytime you bomb, a lot of comedians, especially the OGs, don't want you talking to them, don't want you looking at them, don't want you riding them. They want you to get up and go home. Go somewhere and sit down somewhere. Don't be around nobody. Get away from them. So when I tell y'all it was a harsh lesson for me, it was a harsh lesson for me. And I had to sit down and I had to reevaluate some things. I had to sit down and I had to actually write. Like I had to use my brain. I had to write. So Armani wrote some jokes for me. I wrote some jokes for me. I changed some of his jokes. I changed some of his jokes to, tailor them to me. So yeah, that's what I had to do. But when you bomb, you have to get yourself back up. Cause that bomb would tell a story. That bomb would teach a lesson to you. You gonna either get back up and do it again, or you not gonna do it no more. And that bomb made me go sit down somewhere, even though I'm already sitting down. It made me sit down, reevaluate myself and what I need to do in order to not to bomb again. And I had to tell myself I cannot get drunk. I cannot drink and go on stage and tell no jokes to nobody. Because first of all, it wasn't even professional to even be that drunk. Okay? It was not professional at all. And we're not going to talk about the behind the scenes crap that I went through just to get to Atlanta. We ain't going to talk about that. Maybe another time. But when you bomb, that bomb will teach you two lessons. You either want to quit or you want to keep going. And if you keep going, that means you've reevaluated your performance, your jokes. You went and did some open mics to get the jokes tight and right and make sure that you did not do what you did that time, this time. Because like I said, this was my second time telling jokes. This was my second time telling jokes. But my first time on stage. And I was not prepared to do that show. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't even in the right headspace to even go on that stage and do that show. I'm not going to even lie, y'all. I wasn't in the right headspace. I wasn't. Like I said, it was a lot that went on behind the scenes that shouldn't have went down, that did go down, and I should have just turned it down and just said, hey, I don't think this show is for me. Because first of all, doing comedy in a strip club, it didn't sound right to me when I first heard it, and it did not feel right at all. And I shouldn't have done the show. I'm just going to just be honest with myself and be honest with y'all. Doing comedy at a strip club just was not right. Okay. I just told y'all my worst bombing experience, and that was at KOD. I was drunk. I had me one Long Island iced tea. I had smoked some weed just a little bit before the show started. You know what I'm saying? So I was, and you know, one Long Island iced tea would do it for anybody, but you know, that wasn't even a Long Island iced tea. Cause first of all, Long Island iced tea is not pink; it's brown, and I don't know what that was, but whatever they call it, that was not Long Island, and I was drunk, and it turned, instead to a comedy show, it turned to a open, not even an open mic. It turned to a seminar, a TED talk. That's what it turned to. It turned to a TED talk. How do you feel about crowd work? I don't do crowd work at all. This is what I do. I go on stage and I tell my jokes. I do interact with the crowd now. My first time doing a little bit of crowd work was when I did Kickback and Laughs with comedian DK Venison. That's when I did a little bit of crowd work. When somebody from the crowd said something to me and I responded to the crowd and I talked to the person in the crowd. Now that's my only experience, you know, with crowd work was to actually talk to somebody in the crowd, you know. That was the only little bit of crowd work I did do, you know. But other than that, I don't do crowd work because to me, not just for me, with me having problems with getting distracted, I don't really talk to people in the audience like that because I'm easily distracted. So I'll mess around and get distracted by somebody in the crowd and forget that I'm supposed to be doing a doggone comedy show. I forget. And I'm carrying on a whole conversation with somebody in the crowd. So I don't do it. I'm gonna learn how to perfect crowd work because I want to make sure when I do it correctly, and I don't get myself in trouble with trying to, you know, hone in on, you know, the crowd work. If I were the president in the White House in 2026, what would my administration be like? I wouldn't be doing what the current president is doing. I would not be doing nothing that the current president is doing. Because of him, a lot of prices is up. A lot of people have lost their jobs. He has cut a lot of essential programs that we need. This man has just been doing stuff that affects this skin color right here. And I don't like I don't like that part. I feel like there would be just I think this is what I think. I think Kamala Harris would have been the best president because she has the experience that he does not have. Her plan would have been my plan. He is running off of Project 2025. His Project 2025 is what he is running off of, and it's not a good plan. Okay? It is not a good plan that he put in place. It's trying to set women back. It's trying to take our our rights from us. Not only women, it's trying to take the vote back from black folks. It's just doing a lot of harm. The stuff that the man in the White House is doing, he is causing more harm than good. These Epstein files, I believe he's in them more than anybody. I believe he has done some horrific things to kids. And if I were the president, he would be locked up. He wouldn't have been able to be a president the second time because I would have had him locked up for the things that he has done. He would be serving time right now. He's a felon. I would have made sure that he paid for January the 6th. I would increase minimum wage in all states. I would be, if I was the president, when it comes to deportation, my policy would be just like President Obama's. He was the deporter in chief. When he deported you, he deported families. He did not tear families apart. He did not tear the parents away from the kids. He did not do that. And that's what this man is trying to do. This man is trying to also take away birthright citizenships. I will make sure that birthright citizenship is protected. The sanctuary cities, I will make sure that they stay intact, stay in place. That's what I would be doing if I was the president of the United States. I would be making sure that people that need protection are protected. I will make sure it's better laws out here to make sure that our communities are better than what they are now. That's what I would be doing if I were the president. Do I believe in roasting the crowd if the crowd is not paying attention? Yes. I believe that once you give the crowd 2 warnings, or people in the crowd, or a person in the crowd 2 warnings, if they don't listen to you the second time, the third time is when you go in and you go off. Because at that moment, you're not being malicious. You have already warned them twice to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And if they cannot do that, then that's on them. You know, that's on them if they cannot, do that. But yeah, roasting is fine. I don't roast though, for real. I used to roast when I was a kid, sitting in my aunt's kitchen with my cousins and my brother. We did that back then. I don't do that now. I'm not gonna even lie, y'all. I'm kind of scared to roast because sometimes roasting can get serious, especially with the wrong egos, the wrong people can get mad with you when you say certain stuff, especially when they know a lot about you and they can hit you below the belt, and stuff can get violent, stuff can get dangerous, stuff can get deadly. So I don't roast, and roasting is really not part of comedy. It's not an important part of comedy. It's a fun part, but it's not an important part. But I don't, like I said, I don't roast. I don't. But do I think it's okay to roast the crowd if the crowd is not listening? Yeah, once you give them 1 or 2 warnings, I think it's cool. I think it's all right. Just as long as you don't get malicious in what you are doing. Because once you start being malicious, you shouldn't call yourself a comedian once you be malicious and to people. You shouldn't. Comedy is supposed to make people feel good. Comedy is supposed to make people think. Comedy is supposed to be an escape for people's real life. So they didn't come to a comedy show to be disrespected. But at the same time, the comedian is doing a job. So do not come on our job and try to be disrespectful to us. Come and enjoy the show, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the food, enjoy the drinks, enjoy the music, enjoy the entertainment that's being provided. Now, if you're having a bad day and you just cannot let that comedy penetrate your soul, then just leave. Just leave and go home. Get you a couple of drinks, get you a good meal, smoke you some weed if that's what you do. But don't come to a comedy show if you know that you're not in a good headspace to enjoy comedy. Cause we all know what has happened to Tony Rock. We all know what happened to Steve Brown years ago. That should never happen. Should no comedian be attacked on stage. Comedians need to start fighting back when these people jump up on stage and try to hurt us. Fight back, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do believe that it's okay for a comedian to roast the crowd. Do I believe comedy can be taught? Yes and no. Some aspect, I'm telling you, yes, comedy can be taught, and no, comedy cannot be taught. The reason why I say comedy cannot be taught is the funny part of comedy. Can't nobody teach you to be funny. You either funny or you're not. Now the logistics and the ins and outs of writing a joke, telling a joke, having a good aura on stage, if that's the right word to use. Yeah, that could be taught. Stage presence. That's what I mean to say. Stage presence. I ain't missing stage presence. If you have a good stage presence on stage, that could be taught. To me, in my opinion, that can be taught to a up and coming comedian. That all of that can be taught. Improv can be taught. How to hold a mic can be taught. How to project your voice on that microphone can be taught. But how to be funny, that cannot be taught. That comes with practice over and over and over again. And how you get practice is if you go to open mics. And me, I need to start going back to open mics. I haven't been to an open mic since last year. But I need to start back going to open mics and getting myself back together, getting my jokes together, because I have fallen completely off, y'all. And I'm not going to even sit up here and blow smoke with y'all butt about it. I have completely fallen completely and utterly off when it comes to comedy. I have fallen off. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. What is one topic that is hard for you to talk about? Rape and domestic violence. Those are two things for me that's hard for me to joke about on stage. To joke about. I cannot find the funny in domestic violence. I cannot find the funny in rape. I cannot. The most seasoned comedian can write me a joke about domestic violence or rape. I cannot sit there and willingly do that joke on stage because you never know who you have in your audience. You may have somebody that's going through domestic violence, abuse. You may have a rape victim in your audience, and they hear you tell a domestic abuse or violent joke, or they hear you tell a rape joke. And you never ever want to offend anybody that has gone through domestic violence, or abuse, or rape. Because those three things are traumatic to people. So I cannot see myself ever joking around about domestic violence or domestic abuse. I could never see myself ever doing that. I just, for me personally, I can't do it. A lot of female comedians can do it. A lot of male comedians can do it. I'm just one of them ones that I don't even see myself even trying to tell a domestic a joke or a rape joke. I can't see myself doing that when I know that there are women and men in the audience that may be victims, and they just may be, like I said, trying to escape that traumatic event, and they don't want to hear a joke about that because it's not funny to them. So I don't ever want to offend a person in that way. I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to put a bad taste in a victim's / survivor's mouth about a joke that I told that resonates with them. That type of joke I just cannot do. Like I said, I'm 5 years in. What joke took me years to get right? My introduction joke where I say, if my comedy career don't work out for me, I might have to become a stripper. Can y'all imagine the host or the club promoter saying, come to the stage, throwing that ass in a circle, Meals on Wheels? That took me a while to perfect. And I'm able to tell the joke without any problems now. I'm able to tell that joke because it hits every time I do it. And I'm able to tell that joke. My life alert joke took me a while to perfect. I'm still perfecting the joke, okay? Because it's a story. It's not a whole. It's a story, y'all. And it's really not about a life alert. It's about a taser. The joke came about when I was in Atlanta, like I said, at KOD. Well, getting ready for KOD, and I was on the phone with my homegirl January, and I had my taser just so I had something to protect myself. And I was trying to make sure that it was charged up, and instead of me clicking on the flashlight of my taser, I clicked the tase button. Needless to say, y'all, I tased the living shit out of myself. And I still have problems with my left hand, because it was my left hand that I tased. My taser went one way, my phone went the other way, and I was lucky that I had January on speakerphone. Because when I tell y'all, it took me a while before I found my taser. It took me a while because I was looking for that bad boy. I threw that mug, okay? So that wasn't all that funny, but I had to turn it into something to make it funny. So I turned into a life alert joke with me wearing life alert while I was in the shower having sex with my dude. And, you know, it gave me a shock so strong that I thought I could walk. And my sister came running into the bathroom trying to figure out what was going on, because she heard, me screaming, and the dude dropped me in the shower. That's how my Life Alert joke became about. Because at first, the Life Alert part came from Lil G. You know, and Lil G helped me write the joke. Comedian Lil G helped me write my Life Alert joke. Because I didn't know how I was going to do it, you know. And once I wrote it and I showed it to him, yeah, he helped me punch it up a whole lot. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful to Lil G for him helping me with the joke, because I did not know how in the entire hell I was gonna get that joke out of me. Okay, so I got the joke up out of me. Have I ever stolen a joke by accident? No, I have never stolen somebody's joke, even on purpose or by accident. I don't do that. I do not steal jokes. This is why when I write, this is my process for writing, because this is the next question. But this is my process of writing. When I'm getting ready to write, I don't listen to comedy. I don't watch comedy specials. I don't listen to nobody tell their jokes. I stay off of social media. I stay off of Netflix, YouTube, wherever you can find comedy specials, I stay up off of while I'm writing my jokes. Because if I hear the jokes over and over and over again, I end up writing their joke, not knowing that I wrote their joke, and I go on stage and I do it. I don't ever in life want to ever steal somebody else's work. I don't ever want to steal somebody's words, their thoughts, their money. Because when you write jokes, you're making money off of those jokes. So I don't ever want to steal money from another comedian, from another colleague. I don't ever in life want to do that. So when I'm in the process of writing jokes, I make sure that I have not heard comedy all day long. Okay? I just make sure that there is no jokes floating around in my head that I've heard that belong to anybody else. I make sure. Because like I said, I don't ever want to be accused of stealing nobody's jokes by accident or on purpose. Because y'all have seen me bring comedians on here talking about how their jokes have gotten stolen. You know, so I don't ever want an OG comedian ever going on somebody's podcast or being interviewed and saying, you know, that girl Shaquena that's in the wheelchair, she stole one of my jokes. I don't ever want that to come out of another comedian's mouth. That girl Shaquena that's in the wheelchair, that called herself doing comedy, stole my joke, and I had to pull up on her. I had to dump her out of her wheelchair because I don't ever want that to be done to me or said to me because I accidentally or I on purpose stole somebody's joke. I don't ever want that to be. I just don't. I cannot do that to myself. I have too much pride. I have too much dignity. That's why I live life. I have lived life. I'm still living life. I talk about myself on stage. I joke about me on stage. I am a disabled female black comedian. And I joke about myself. As long as I write about me, I never have to worry about another comedian, whether that comedian is a man or a woman, pulling up on me, trying to fight me because I told one of their jokes. Now, I was introduced to another comedian that I never knew anything about named David Rozier. I was watching some of his jokes on YouTube. He was a funny dude. God rest his soul. He was a funny comedian. Like this man was hilarious, and I wish I could have gotten the opportunity to meet him and just sit down and just talk to him. I wish I could have, but I didn't know anything about this man, and I'm upset that I didn't know about him. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but this man was hilarious. He was funny, and I watch a lot of his stuff. So I don't, and like I said, I watch him, but I don't steal his jokes. I don't, and what I mean by stealing is going on stage, telling his jokes word for word. You could take a joke, you can flip it, you can reword it, you can redo it, you can remix it, and turn it into your life. But if you go on stage and you tell somebody's joke word for word, yeah, you deserve to get your ass beat. You deserve that. And I don't do that. I don't go on stage and tell somebody's joke word for word. I don't do that. I tell about my life. I tell about the stuff that I have experienced, the stuff that I have done, the stuff that I want to do as a person that's in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. What's a comedy rule you secretly don't believe in? There are no comedy rules that I don't believe in. I'm 5 years in, so I can't say that there are no rules that I don't believe in. I can't say that right now. Maybe give me another 10 years and I can tell you. But right now, I don't have any rules that I don't believe in. I try my best to be respectful of people and their time. I am respectful of the game. I'm respectful of whatever comedian books me or brings me on the road. If they tell me, hey, I need for you to go last, which is the headliner position, okay. But just don't put me first. I tell you that right now. Don't put me first, because there's so much pressure to go first. I do not like going first. I do not like opening up the show. I don't like it. It is nerve-wracking to open up a show, y'all. I promise y'all it is so nerve-wracking to open up a show. Because you set the tone of the show. So I just I don't like it. Have I ever had beef with another comedian? Maybe, but I don't let it get in the way of me doing my job. I don't let it get in the way of me doing what I gotta do. I don't let it turn me into somebody that's conniving, sneaky. I don't let it. I've never let beef with another comedian make me try to cut somebody out of a show. I've never done that. I would never do that. Now that was done to me. I was cut out of a show. Point blank, period. But it's all good. Lesson learned. Be careful. But I would never let comedy beef turn me into something that I'm not. I would never do that. Cause I can work with people that I don't even like. I can be cordial to people that I don't like. Long as you cordial to me, I'm cordial to you. Long as you respect me, I respect you. Now, if you don't like me, that's fine. That's fine if you don't like me, but we on the same show together. We trying to get this money. You get your money, I get mine. I go home. You get your money, you go home. But don't ever go behind my back at a comedy show and try to cut my money. Try to cut me off of a show. Try to badmouth me at a show. Try to blackball me at a show. Because if I find out that you tried to blackball me at a show by putting my name in a bad light, yeah, it's not going to be too cute. And I don't want nobody saying, which one? You in a wheelchair. Yeah, I'm in the wheelchair. But I would tear the back of your legs up with my wheelchair. If anybody ever try to mess up my money when it comes to a show, or try to mess up a show for me, I would tear the back of your legs up. You will be in a wheelchair right next to mine. If you ever try to undercut me or try to ever get me kicked off of a show or blackballed, the back of your legs will never be the same ever again. And I do mean that. You could take it as a threat or you could take it as a promise. But I mean it as a promise. I promise you that. I'm not threatening nobody. I mean that with everything I got in my spirit. Don't ever mess with my dream and my money. This is my dream. Right now, I may not be doing my dream right now the way I want to be doing my dream, but I will be getting back on stage. But don't ever undercut my dream. Don't ever do that. Don't ever disrespect me by doing that, because that right there will get you hurt. And I do promise that. I promise you that. I'm not making no threats. I'm just making a promise. That's it. That's all. Take it for what it is. What's something about the comedy industry that people would not believe if you told them? You got some comedians and some club promoters and owners that try to sleep with the females just for stage time. It happens. What is something about the comedy industry people wouldn't believe? You got some comedians, some promoters, and some comedy owners, club owners, that will sleep with females just for stage time. And that should not be like that. Another thing that people may not believe, a lot of male and female comedians get roofied in comedy. And when they wake up the next morning, they don't know what the hell happened to them. That's the main reason why I stopped drinking. Because I don't ever want to be roofied by nobody. I don't ever want nobody to think that because I want to get on stage, you can take advantage of me just because I want to get on stage. That's never going to happen to me. I'm not going to, I'm going to say, I'm confident to say that would never happen to me. Because I would never allow myself to be raped. because I will have protection with me. I will have human protection with me. And ladies, I need for y'all to please, when you put your drink down, go get another one. Don't take drinks from strange men. Don't take drinks from men at all. If you cannot trust that person, do not take a drink from them. I trust a handful of men and a handful of women in comedy. Because you know what? You got some men that will use women to drug another woman. Okay? Buy your own drink. Go to the bar and get your own drink. And buy those covers to go on your drinks. Don't ever leave your drink unattended. That goes to the men and that goes to the women. Don't ever leave that drink unattended. And don't ever think you got to have sex with another comedian just to get on stage. Don't ever think you got to do that, because you do not have to get on. You do not have to screw another comedian, a promoter, or a club owner for stage time. It may take you a little bit longer, but that's okay. But don't ever think you got to do that. Don't ever think that you got to sacrifice your dignity in your body to get on nobody's stage. Because you ain't got to do that. And if anybody tell you got to, no you don't. If you got to build your own stage, do that. But don't ever put yourself in a situation by getting high and getting drunk and you don't remember what happened. Drink your water all night. Get high, get drunk when you get home or you get back to your hotel. If you got a boyfriend, make sure that your boyfriend come with you. If you got a husband, make sure that your husband come with you. If you got family members, make sure that your family members come with you and leave with you. That's how you do that. That's how you do that, ladies. Gentlemen, make sure that you protect what you put in your body when you're in these comedy clubs. If you put it down, don't pick it back up and drink up off of it or eat up off of it. Because 9 times out of 10, somebody has put something in it. Okay? So, look out for yourself. Okay? Who believed in you before anybody else believed in you? Ooh, my sister, Ronisha Anderson, believed in me before anybody else did. And after her, it was comedian 50 Shades of Fudge. He believed in me second. These two people believed in me. Before I even got into comedy, these two believed in me. Believed that I could do it. Told me I could do it. What's the moment in comedy that made you cry? Ooh-wee! Let me see. It was April the 27th, 2023. It was a month after my sister was murdered. And I got back on stage. Yep, I got back on stage. It was Auntie Gina and friends. And that's where I first met Auntie Gina, Kia, chemistry. I got to share the stage with Baldhead. I got to meet him in person for the first time. Because I was supposed to meet him in person back in 2022 when I feature for Teddy Carpenter, but I wasn't able to. But, you know, God had other plans, so I got a chance to share the stage with, you know, Baldhead, Auntie Gina, Kia, Chemistry, Armani Jones, who else was there that night? Oh my God. Just so many people there that night. But that night made me cry because I was angry. I was angry and I was hateful in my spirit. But I made it through the night. I'm going to tell you what got me to make it through that night. It was like once I got that mic in my hand, it was like my sister just took over my body, my mind, and my spirit that night. And I got on that stage and I told my jokes. And I did not know what I said when I got up there. I didn't know what I said until after I watched the video. I didn't know what I said. I didn't know. The only two things I remember saying is I had the best marinated coochie in the room. And I remember telling my banana joke. And that wasn't even a joke. If y'all know what I'm saying when I say banana, ladies, gentlemen, yeah, I told that story on stage, and I was supposed to take that to my grave. Unfortunately, I didn't. My sister took it to hers, but I didn't take it to mine, though. You know what I'm saying? She made me tell that on stage. My sister made me tell that on stage, and I was not supposed to tell that on stage. Oh, I'm mad. I was so mad when I watched the video and I saw that I told that on stage. I was like, ugh. But yeah, I told it on stage, y'all. I told it on stage and I was like, shit. I'm like, well, Nisha, you got me. She got me and I couldn't get her back. Oh, but I was like, what do you want your comedy to stand for? I want my comedy to stand for inclusiveness. I want people to feel like they can relate to me. I don't care if you can or cannot walk. I don't care if you can't see or if you can't hear. I want my comedy to be relatable to any and everybody. I want it to be inclusive to any and everybody. It may be about my life, but I want something in my comedy that can be relatable to anybody. And it don't matter what it is. I don't care what it is in my comedy. If you can relate to it, I've done my job. If you cannot relate, I have not done my job. Okay? And I need to go back to the drawing board. Clean comedy or raunchy. I could do both. I have done both. Which is harder to do. Clean. It's hard to do because I like to cuss. I like to talk. I like to talk dirty, just a little bit. I don't like to be vulgar on stage. I'm never vulgar on stage. I'm never disrespectful on stage. I'm raunchy on stage. I let you know about me on stage. Okay, that's the best way for me to put it. Club, a theater. I haven't been to a theater yet. I have been to clubs and I have been to bars. And to me, they are less stressful. Host, feature, a headliner. Well, I haven't hosted a show. Kind of, sort of, not yet. I'm not I'm not headliner ready. I have features, so I'd rather feature. I'm not a good opener. What drink matches my personality? Long Island iced tea. Because there's so many liquors in it, you never know what you're gonna get. And that's with me. I got so many different personalities in me. You never know which one you're gonna get on a day-to-day basis. What's worse, a sober crowd or a drunk crowd? Drunk crowd. Cause a lot of times a drunk crowd will act up sometimes. You got some people in the audience that may not be able to hold their liquor and may want to get handsy and touchy feely with you. And I've had somebody that wanted to get touchy feely with me, and I had to tell them about themselves to leave me alone. You know, don't touch me. Who gave you your first real opportunity in comedy? Y'all, I've already told you that was 50 Shades of Fudge. Who was the first comedian I ever studied? Oh, shoot, that's hard to tell. Small Fry. I love Small Fry because of her voice and how short she was. What is. I studied comedian Steve Brown because he had a different type of voice. You know, and y'all hear how I sound. So I studied those two based off of their voices. And I still study Small Fry. I still study Steve Brown. I studied a lot of comedians, but them two was the first two I ever really studied. And also Steve Brown is a physical comedian. I was trying to figure out how can I be as physical as he is standing up, but me sitting down. And that's what really made me want to study Steve Brown. Have you ever had to check another comedian for stealing jokes? No. Now that I did, I was at a comedy show when a comedian did steal a joke. And I guess the look on my face told them that they better not continue to do that joke. But yeah, I've heard a comedian steal another comedian's joke. Do you feel comedians get underpaid? Yes, I do. I feel a lot of us get underpaid. A lot of us get underpaid. I do. I do feel that way. Have I ever had my I quit comedy moment? Yes. I had that moment March 7th, 2023, when my sister got murdered. I had that moment. I said I wanted to quit comedy. I did not want to do it no more. I said I quit. I don't want to do this. That was my I quit moment. I didn't want to do it no more. I said I wanted to quit. I said bump comedy. I wanted to hang that mic up. Like the same. I mean, like I just wanted to just quit. Uh, but yeah, that was my I quit moment. Um, um, but yeah, I wanted to quit comedy after my sister got killed. Do my family think I'm funny? Some of my family members think I'm funny. Some of them look at me like, go sit down somewhere. They don't tell me sit. They go tell me sit down somewhere. That's what they tell me. Let me see what strong I need to drink after this. Let me see what strong your person was. Okay, well, we done got to the libations part of this show. This is the last question, or where I talk about me either being high or me being drunk before or after a show. This was after my sister. I went to Atlanta, Georgia to, surprise at the time Armani Jones. I was high. I had been smoking for a minute. And I got on stage and I was, and let me tell y'all, it wasn't a big crowd, but it was enough of people there to laugh at me and laugh with me. I was so high, y'all. I was seeing double of everything and everybody. I wasn't drinking anymore, but I was still smoking weed. I was eating edibles and stuff like that, but I was no longer drinking. Yeah, I was so high, y'all. Like I told y'all, I was seeing double of everything and everybody. If people was just looking at me and staring at me, it was funny to me because the weed that I had consumed in my system. Oh yes, Lord, y'all. That stuff had me on loop. Oh my God, I was so high, y'all. Like, I did not know if I was coming or going. I had everybody laughing at me. I had everybody joking around with me that night. Well, that day, because it was during the daytime, it wasn't that night. But I had fun. People, like I said, people laughed at me. So I thank God that, I was able to be high and still be funny. Because I sure can't be drunk and be funny. Because when I drink, I'm not funny when I drink. I promise y'all I'm not. And I thank God I have not had a drink since November 30th of 2022. I have not had a drink since then. I don't need to drink no more. I promise y'all I don't. I do not need to drink absolutely no more. I promise y'all I don't. Because me drinking and telling jokes don't mix. But being high and telling jokes, those two mix. I promise you it do. I absolutely promise you them two, they mix. But yeah, y'all, that was one of my high moments. Another high moment I had, this before I even got into comedy, I fell out of a whole car in the parking lot of a hotel when I was in Atlanta with my sister. We had smoked some weed and I was laughing and rocking back and forth trying to get in my wheelchair out the car, and my sister kept telling me, Shaquena, you better stop before you fall on the ground. As soon as she said it, I fell on the ground, and this was November of 2019. We was there in Atlanta to go to a comedy show, see Delay. And this was the day of Delay's comedy show that I fell out the car. Trying to get in my wheelchair. And I was laughing at my sister. I don't, and I mean, y'all, I laughed so hard at my sister, I just fell out the car, y'all. And it was funny to me, y'all. It still does to this day. Like, it is hilarious as hell today. Even though she's no longer here, it is still funny to me to this day. But y'all, that's it for tonight. This was episode 84 I'm sorry RayDiva was not here. It's my fault that I booked, that I got her to do this episode, not knowing today was Mother's Day. I completely forgot, y'all. I'm gonna have to rebook her again for another episode. But I thank y'all for coming tonight, enjoying the show. What I got going on is Laughs and Libations again. Sunday coming up. I'm writing a book. I'm still writing jokes. Trying to figure out merch. I have tried to put out merch in the past and it just did not work out for me. But I hope this time around it does. I'm praying to God that it does. But I just want to make sure that I do it right this time around. But that's what I got going on right now. The book, my merch, getting back on stage. Just, living life so I can make it funny for y'all. But I hope that y'all have a great night. I hope that y'all enjoyed this live. We will see y'all back here Sunday. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out here, to all the grandmamas out here, all the TTs and all the cousins. And don't forget that you got people out here that have lost mamas, grandmamas, aunties. Please don't forget that today. Please do not forget that today. Show some empathy today to people when you're celebrating. Y'all have a great night. And we will see y'all Sunday.
She's dancing like